Hi Aquarius. So here to do your read for this week. I have decided that I'm going to continue doing these, even though I am pretty sure that I'm being copied. I do know who it is, so that's apparently the highest form of flattery is mimicry. So I'll just take it like that and keep it pushing because it's very frustrating. So anyway, um, let's go ahead and get you guys some cards. I'm going to use the solar deck for the first portion here and see what we can get. Okay. Yep, no transformation. Okay. No transformation, no love, and no inflation are the first three cards. I just need one more. And then we will go ahead and clarify for you guys using probably the raw deck. Okay, and this is intuition last. So what I'm getting here right off the bat, and I did just kind of say this a second ago, somebody's not able to transform themselves. It doesn't necessarily mean you, but it does mean that somebody around you is not wanting to change anything that's happening. A star death of a nebula. So somebody could be really focusing in on you, on what it is that you're up to, what it is that you would like to do, the things that you have achieved versus not achieved, or this could be you doing this to somebody else. Either way it goes, the next card that came out was Love in the Reverse. And that does denote the four forces of gravity. And, the four forces of gravity are what keeps the universe together. So, in a strange way here, not to scare anybody, but this could sound like somebody trying to destroy your world, trying to dismantle or take apart the four forces of the universe that actually hold you together and distribute them in different ways. That's definitely something that I have kind of was trying to tell you that I was perceiving even before your read even started here. And the inflation of a red giant is the third card out. So because this is number three, this is the number three card to come through your reading here. What I'm seeing here is that a red giant in the universe, at least, it represents a stage of a star in which it's going to combust soon, or it's going to die rather soon. And the inflation of that, or the acceleration of that process, actually is not a good thing. It just means that rather than the star kind of going through that process gracefully, somebody or something has added pressure from observation, via observation or using observation in order to take away the love of the four forces from that red star, from that red giant. And, in a worldly aspect, I guess you could say that when you add inflation on top of somebody's already struggling situation, it means that you're inflating the price, or you're adding on to the struggle, or adding additional hurdles to jump over, or hoops to jump through. Either way it goes, what I'm getting here is that, whether this is you doing this to somebody else, Aquarius, or whether someone is doing this to you, I am seeing the hoops here, that you're looking at hoops, whether they be yours or somebody else, that you're actually have this almost looks like a little dog or something. It looks like a space being. I don't know if you've ever heard of those space bears that are like, they're microorganisms that actually can survive without anything. They like through ridiculous amounts of heat and ridiculous amounts of cold, and under ridiculous pressure, but they look like little polar bears. I'll have to look up what they're called. They're space bears, I think is what they're called, or something like that. But in any case, this looks like one being dangled upside down to me in a strange way, with an ear here and kind of like a, you know, the body here and the head. I don't know why that's coming through, but I'm also just seeing that if a red giant is having the intuition to pick up on that, that could be part of what is making this entire situation way more difficult than what it has to be. Way more difficult. I mean, I don't know what, you'll know how this applies to your life specifically, but I'm just going to give you an example of maybe somebody lobbying to get a building knocked down, and somebody else saying, hey, I don't want that building knocked down. And rather than the person who's lobbying for the building to be knocked down talking with or compromising or actually using their words or whatever the case may be, they may just simply add inflation. So drop a pile of burdens or a pile of papers onto the person who is intuitively saying, look, I would like to save this community center, and I don't want to have it knocked down right now. And I think, something to consider here, Aquarius, is that whenever you're doing construction on things, it takes a huge amount of effort, time, energy to go ahead and get all of the kind of procedures needed in order to get that construction done approved. And although that time and space, is something that once it's done, you might want to use your intuition a little bit more about why it is that you don't feel the need to do anything except for destroy or inflate or add burden or, the human aspect of life is communication. It does not always feel good to have to tell somebody, this place that you've got here, it's got an infestation of some type of a bug that we do not allow in this city. So maybe you have good reason for doing what you're doing. I'm not trying to take that from you. What I am saying, and what I'm seeing here is that without inflation or without adding all of this additional struggle to somebody's life, you really could have a much sharper intuition for yourself. So rather than trying to have someone else provide for you intuition via the pressure and the stress that you are putting on top of them, use your intuition first. So reverse the process. Use your ability to transform. Use your intuition to transform something in a loving way instead of doing it in a way that is going to cause stress, burden, and the death of these little creatures here with inflation. Most people, I want to believe, most people are open to helping one another in most situations that come along. But if you're, I don't know, this could be someone towards you. Like I said, you will know the way that this is coming out, whether it's you doing this to someone else or someone else doing this to you. But when you don't use your intuition about other humans being other humans, and instead you put pressure, you take away love, and you won't transform or, actually work with them or negotiate with them or anything like that, there's going to be a lot more friction and pushback. And everything in general tends to be a lot harder that way. So let me get you some specific advice for this. I'm going to go ahead and use the Amun Ra deck, and we'll see what has to be said. And I don't know why, but also this comes across as an I. If there is, for some reason, somebody spying, not out of love, out of malicious intent, you also need to consider why it is that that's happening, whether that's you or someone else, because it's not It's an invasion of privacy. It's an invasion of peace. I don't know if you've ever considered the fact that photons of light will change their behavior when observed, but it is an actual fact. So if what you're wanting is for somebody to choose one way or the other, then the very fact of observation right here will create a conflict of interest between those two decisions that you might have on the table. So just something to think about. Let me see what I can get for you guys in terms of yeah. Okay, so what came out for transformation was meditation in the reverse. So if you're not meditating or not thinking about or not considering, not praying on, not actually taking the time to put some deep thought and kind of prayer towards something, it's going to delay the transformational process, and also could cause the death of a star. It says nebula star death directly with that as well. So give me a second to continue. Just need 3 more cards, please. Yeah. So one form of gratitude came out with love in reverse. And if someone is actually feeling grateful despite there not being any love, and the inflation came out with the shadow and the upright. Wait a second. I'm just going to show these to you. Oh my God. Yeah, this is basically what I was just trying to say. Meditation came out in reverse with transformation. So if you're not thinking about, or if you're not spending time in investing in really meditating on how to do something gracefully or transform something gracefully, most things don't transform easily. People don't transform unless they're highly uncomfortable. But also, the other way that people transform is when they're well informed. When you've had conversations, when you've had used a mediator to try to come to a middle ground. So if you're not thinking about that and what you want is transformation, I will just point out here that the star of death, or the death of a star, is what creates a nebula. And nebulas transform rather violently. This is an explosion. So consider which way you would prefer to have it, and then I would suggest you move in that direction. The 4 forces, or gravity, represents love in the reverse. And when gratitude is in the upright, it just says that somebody is actually grateful that there is no love. If this is you, Aquarius, I'm not trying to shun you, but shame on you. Literally. I mean, gravity is what keeps us held down to this earth. So if you're taking love from somebody, if you're trying to, fly them like a kite or a balloon of some type, and you're grateful that you don't feel like you need to meditate on any kind of transformative process here, shame on you. This is rather cruel when it has to do with someone's entire universe. And I mean, this could be someone looking at you this way, but you need to consider honestly for yourself if this is something that you're doing with other people, by yourself, or if you're on the receiving end of it, then shame on that person. The red giant, inflation, if this is your shadow self saying that you don't want to invest in a red giant, if you don't want any transformation, no love, and no red giant, and that's secretly what you're keeping from everyone else around you, then I would be ready for the backlash, because I don't think that the universe takes lightly to, you look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bright spots. And then this one, this, actually there's 7, including that one. So this is like 7 days a week, you letting your shadow self destroy a giant aspect of somebody or something else. I'm just hearing Giants Do Fall. The song Giants Do Fall. It's a song that we used to sing in this choir, this gospel choir that I used to be in college. But I would be really careful with blowing up your own shadow self as big as possible to try to shield or create this lack of transformational love or contribution to somebody else, especially if you're grateful for your shadow self. If you never think about it, and if you're grateful that you're able to work in the shadows or behind the scenes to do something like this, I think it was that movie Eyes Wide Shut, was about a masquerade ball where everyone was wearing a mask. But the opposite side of that is also the order that those people followed, was the religious sect that those people followed. And God had his eyes wide open when it came to that. So everything comes to the light. That's Jill Scott. Everything comes to the light. And the reason why I'm saying that again and again, or giving you all these references to think about here, is that if you're intuitive and this is a distant galaxy for you, if this is what your galaxy consists of at this time, that's not a blessing. That's not a blessing for you long term. I'm just being honest. Like, this is, no matter what you think you might be getting away with right now versus what you want to get away with in the future versus, I don't know how all this is relevant to your life right now. You will know. But it's not a blessing to have a shadow side that's much larger than your ability to meditate on things, and being grateful without love, that there is no love being shown. That's some sketchy business. So I would just be careful. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I will get you some advice, but you are playing with fire right now. Literally fire. Playing with fire. You can be grateful and keep love in your heart at the same time. But the fact that you're grateful that there is no love, and that these cards came out this way, that the shadow self is literally something like, I mean, come on, this is what it looks like without any of the other cards. That you're not praying, that you're grateful for your shadow self, and that's not a blessing. Literally how it came out. It's I'm just reading the cards. I'm just a messenger, so don't shoot me. But let me get you some unicorn cards, because we'll see how that is going to play out. It's kind of shocking. I mean, I literally did say in the beginning of this thing that I felt like, when you copy somebody, it's supposed to be like, flattery. But if you're copying somebody in order to serve your shadow self, or to say that you've got no love, that you're grateful that there is no love, I worry more so about your soul than for you. But I just don't. There have been some really heavy energies that I've felt before in the past couple days here, and this, I don't know where Aquarius falls in your chart, but if this is something that you're actively manifesting. I just go get some more reads from other people if you don't believe me. I'm not going to keep on reiterating. I'm just kind of trying to let you know. Yeah. Closeness, number 5 came out. This is advice. So this is the advice. It says that between not meditating and gratitude, you need to bring those two closer to each other. You need to meditate on why it is that you're grateful that there is no love going on, potentially, or that meditate on the fact that, closeness is number 5. Maybe take a moment and consider for yourself what it is that you are trying to manifest and how you're trying to do it and how you could do it in a different way. Bring yourself a little closer, scoot yourself a little closer to the table, and rather than being grateful without love, maybe you need to take a moment. Yeah. Flight, number 9, is in reverse. It says, let your creative imagination fly. Yeah. And then help, number 9. Wow. Okay. Literally, these are the cards that came out. I could not make this up any better than it just came out. Okay. Sorry. This was first. Then was gratitude. Then was the shadow self. And then was a blessing and just reverse. Okay. What came out here was closeness. If you're not going to meditate on the gratitude and why it is that you're trying to be grateful or gracious or whatever the case may be, then you need to understand that there needs to be a closer bond between these two so that you can have love. So that you can have love. So that you can stop destroying things and have love. Flight came out in the reverse. Literally, it says, let your creative imagination fly. This is number 9. And it came out in the reverse. So you're not close to flying. This is not helping you elevate yourself any more than this lack of transformational love. Okay? That's what this is saying. Close, you're very close to not flying. Then, obviously we've got the shadow self and the blessing coming out next. Lack of blessings, coming out next. And help came out in the reverse. So your shadow self is not helping with any kind of blessing. If that's what you were going for. And I know that actually Aquarius is tend to like to do philanthropy or to try to be very, giving of themselves and help people along their path. But this is not helpful. Like there's no flight that is helpful at this time. So nothing that you're putting up in the air is helping. Especially because you're operating out of a very non-blessed shadow side of yourself. So this inflation that you've got with your lack of intuition or, I don't know, this inflation and the intuition that could have come from it is not going to take you very far. It's not going to fly you to the places that you want to be flying to. This is blessings in reverse. So I don't think I have to even really, I think these are self-explanatory. I just think that I'm in shock a little bit that this is, potentially what's happening or what you're doing. This kind of pisses me off for all people going through this, whether it be the Aquarius or the other person. Like, stop what you're doing. Like, stop this. What is this? Seriously? Who does this? Who's like, oh, I want to be close, so therefore I'm not going to take flights, and then I'm not going to help. I'm not going to do anything to get on a higher level, and I'm not going to do anything to help. Who does that? Where do they do this at? See, that's an actual question. If someone knows the answer, put it in the comments down below, because like I'm super confused. If you're not going to use your intuition and there is no love, then what is it that you're doing exactly? Does this make you feel better about yourself? Is it a personal kind of, oh, I want everyone to be miserable with me? I'm not sure. I'm just not getting it. I don't understand. But hopefully next time we can shed some more light on this. Aquarius, I'm done with this for today. So have a good one. Bye.